All right. Well, welcome to Craft Commerce. This is my favorite weekend of the year, and it's so good to be back here with all of you. If it's your first time here, you might not fully understand the conference name. If it's your first time here from San Diego, you might wonder why we named the conference after a cocktail lounge in Little Italy. Maybe you've Googled that and you're like, wait, this is confusing. Regardless of who you are, let me explain the name. So I'll start by telling you two stories about different creators, Chris and Kimberly. So Chris Howes was an avid musician as a kid, but as he entered college, he found new friends and he got into drugs. That turned into selling drugs, and that turned into getting busted by the cops and spending years in prison at 19. But prison was the wake-up call that he needed. He got back to music, and when he got out, he fully applied himself to practicing and performing, and he ended up becoming a world-class jazz musician and performing all over the world. He turned his life around, and he was living the dream. But there was still something missing, and that was control of his time and being able to spend time with his kid. But was there another way to make a living outside of traveling? He wanted to find out. So he quit the touring life, he went back home to raise his kid, and he tried to make a living in other ways. He was actually one of the first musicians to set up remote recordings, and today he earns a living teaching other musicians how to hone their craft, how to perform. So he learned that craft requires a level of focus and effort on it, but that turning that craft into commerce also requires just as much creativity. And really that when you combine both, the possibilities are endless. The other creator that I want to tell you about today is Kimberly Brooks. I see Kimberly right there. Hi, Kimberly. Kimberly, she went to college for pre-med, but during her last semester, she dipped her paintbrush in cadmium red, and with that first stroke on the canvas, she knew she wanted to be a painter. She dedicated the next decade of her life to honing her craft. She took classes. She even moved to Paris to paint. But when it came time to send out a newsletter advertising her first art show, she wanted to crawl under her desk and hide. I was talking to her the other night, and she mimed out like she crawled under her desk to hide. But she didn't want to hide her art. She wanted to share it with other people. And that's when she realized that marketing wasn't self-promotion. It was art promotion. And if no one sees your art, it doesn't exist. So today's Kimberly's paintings have been exhibited all around the world. She teaches other artists how to hone their craft with her online art courses. And for her, commerce is what enables her to do what she loves and get her art out into the world. So I think about these two examples, Chris and Kimberly. They're both artists. They both chose careers that people are thinking, you can't make money at that. You can't make money as an artist. Especially think of Kimberly going from pre-med to art. Like a career that, well, as Glow talked about, what was it? Doctor, lawyer, disappointment, right? We're going for pre-med. And then she's like, I'm going to be an artist. And this is the thing that everyone says, you can't make money with that. It's unrealistic. Get a realistic career. I think about the juxtaposition between you'll never make money and the thing that I know that most of my highest paid friends and people that I know are creators. They're not lawyers or doctors. A lot of people I know are like Glow, where they're earning far more than doctors or lawyers. And in the last 9 years, since we started ConvertKit, we've helped over 10,000 people turn those unrealistic careers into unbelievable outcomes. And the reason is that, as my friend Jeff Goins says, real artists don't starve. But it's only when they care deeply about both parts of the equation, both their craft and the commerce. When you treat both of these as a skill that you can refine and perfect over time, then you can get to these incredible outcomes. So that's what this conference is about. That's why we named it what it is. And we want you to know that we're here to help you earn a living, but it's not a get-rich-quick thing. It's not one weird trick to make money on the internet. It's about providing real value and honing your craft and proudly charging for your work. Now, I can't break down every last thing that Chris and Kimberly and all the other creators have done to earn a living, but what I can tell you is that our mission as a company is that we exist to help creators earn a living, and everything we do is from that lens. So we're a company on a mission, and we just happen to believe that software is the best way for us to bring that to life. But software is the means to an end, not the end itself. So today I want to share 3 things. First, I want to show you what's coming next and how ConvertKit can help you earn a living as a creator. Second, how we're living out our mission to help creators earn a living. And then third, a little more about the heart and soul of ConvertKit. So first, let's talk about making your life easier as a professional creator. So one thing that I noticed is that over the last few years is that a lot of people don't know the power of ConvertKit. And they'll describe to us features like, hey, it would be amazing if you would build this. And then you have that moment where you're like, on one hand, they're about to be thrilled in a second. And on the other hand, like, we didn't do our job very well as designers because I'm about to show them a feature that already exists and has existed for a year. And so they're like, yay, that's great. And then they're also like, wait, what else did I not know about? And so our design team over the last year redesigned a lot of the application really to bring different navigation in place, specifically so that people could discover the power of ConvertKit that's already there. So things like automation templates and sequences, and then snippets are one that I want to talk about some more in a second. But really about helping people find out what's already there and really discover how to make the most of the platform. So let's talk about content snippets. It's not something new, but I'd be curious from the room. Well, first, who here actively uses ConvertKit? Most everyone here. It's good. It's ConvertKit Conference. It makes sense. Who uses content snippets? Okay. I see Matt in the back. Yeah, we've got a few people, but not nearly as many. So I think this is one of the coolest features in ConvertKit, and here's what they're for. So content snippets are to create a library of content. Let's say that you have testimonials about your product, and you can save them in snippets, and then you can go into a broadcast that you're writing or an email, and you can add them in, and it'll put in this little snippet. You can go select whatever you want in there, and then when you save it and then go and preview and then send your email, it's going to have whatever you put in the snippet pulled in right there. Yeah, I think it's great. So just think about all the things that you would use multiple times as you're creating content and you're going to go find on your computer. You can save all of those into a content library in ConvertKit and reuse them everywhere. But what's especially cool about it is that when you change it once, it updates everywhere. So you can have, let's say you had a footer in your email, right? Your email signature. You can keep that in one place. And then when you change it, it will update in your broadcast, your sequences, and your templates, wherever you used it. So let's say you're like Glow, and maybe you do a pivot, right? Instead of having to go through and edit 27 sequence emails and all these automations in all these places, you change it once, and you're on your way. And so you can do all kinds of things with content snippets. It's not just about changing it faster, but you can also write custom code in them. So there's a template language inside of ConvertKit called Liquid, and it lets you write in things like, hey, if you're a customer, show this content. If you're not a customer, show that content. And so what you can do is you can, let's say you had an email that you sent out and use the PS at the end to pitch your course. Then you could dynamically change that so that if someone has already purchased your course, then it will say, hey, PS, there's a new lesson here, or did you check out lesson 4, or something else. And if they haven't purchased it yet, it can be a call to action to go and buy that. Writing a little bit of this code might not be something you want to do every time, so you can save it in a snippet and reuse it over and over again. So that's about making everything faster. Another thing that we're launching today to make your whole workflow faster is something we're calling Quick Find. And I heard a yes over there. So Quick Find is to make it so that you can access anything in ConvertKit instantly. If you're a fan of keyboard shortcuts, you're going to love this. So you press Command-K and you pull up this menu. And it lets you, it's hard to show keyboard shortcuts in a screencast. So this is really just to show you all of the shortcuts. If you go press G and then the letter tied to wherever you want to go, it will take you in there. So G and then S takes you to the subscribers page. G and then P takes you to products. If you want to search subscribers or jump straight into a tag, it's kind of buried to find all the subscribers in a particular tag. Now you can just press Command K, type the name of the tag, hit enter, and it'll take you right there to showing you the subscribers that are there. And if you want to create something new, you can just press N and then B for a new broadcast. If you're struggling to remember that, just know that it's my initials. So this is called Quick Find. It's available in your accounts right now, and the whole goal is to just make everything much faster for you. So, great. So if you think about these features that we're talking about, right? Snippets, automation, quick find, and more, it's all about making things faster. If you contrast that with most software companies, or most platforms that we use as creators, think Instagram, TikTok, and others, their product teams have one job, and that's to get you to spend more time in their products, right? More time scrolling, more time auto-playing from one Netflix video to the next, whatever it is. They want you to spend as much time in their product as possible. And our goal is the opposite. We want you to spend less time in ConvertKit because we want you to spend more time creating. We want you to build a system that works for you so that then you can hone your craft and make your art while ConvertKit's working for you behind the scenes. So speaking of that craft, I want to talk a little bit about email and the writing experience. So we've been working for the last few years to make a great writing experience inside of ConvertKit so that the content is king, that's what's front and center, and then you can layer in rich media. So since we've last met at Craft Commerce, we've launched a lot of things. One is video in email. So you can natively play video directly in your email. If you pull in a YouTube video, it will automatically convert it over into a format that will play in email. If it's in a client, if the person receiving your email is using something that doesn't support native video, then it automatically converts it to an animated GIF. So it still feels like that and it has that interaction. We've also made it so that you can just drop in tweets and Spotify embeds, and then countdown timers are now native so that you can do a countdown to your next event or your webinar or whatever it is. And so we're making it so it's a clean, elegant writing experience, but then you can add this rich media really easily whenever you want. The next thing that we're focusing on right now is email design. So in that, we're launching something called layouts. And what layouts are is when you're writing your content, you can select a layout, and then it's just these different pieces of content. And it could be for blog posts, 2-column layouts, sponsored content, calls to action, all of that. We have 6 available today, and then we're rolling out a bunch more over the next few weeks. If you want to talk to our design team, they're right here in the front row, and they've done some amazing work on this. And this is something, as I've been using it, it just makes it so much easier to create the look in the email that I want. And the next thing that we're doing is launching a lot more email templates and a complete overhaul of our email template editor to make it much easier to create beautiful emails, so you can do anything you want, from a really simple, elegant, plain text email all the way up through to the most designed emails possible. So over the next few months, we'll be releasing 10 new templates. And then we're also making it much easier for designers to create and share their own templates and even sell them through ConvertKit Commerce. So ConvertKit is built by creators for creators. This is the product that we use every day. This is Charlie, our creative director. And so what we find is we're always building and fixing and improving the things that we want to see. And I think that's just a totally different from a lot of other companies where they're building for investors or they're building for growth. And in this case, we're just always building for creators. All right, the next thing that I want to talk about is ConvertKit Commerce. So on this stage a few years ago, we released our Purchases API. And this is a big shift in how data is shared across, really across your whole creator tech stack. So before, you could integrate with other tools and it would pass in who purchased a product or details like that. And we expanded it so that it was passing in not just the purchase, but also exactly what was purchased and how much revenue and all that from a ton of different integrations. So this example is from Daily Stoic. And they sell products, like a big range of products. They have physical products on Shopify, like t-shirts. They have these really cool coins that they sell. They have courses. They sell challenges and other membership things. So they have things coming from a lot of different sources. And what that means is it all pipes into one dashboard that they can see in ConvertKit. And then everything they can segment off of that, send all their emails. So that's something that we've had for a while. And when we announced that, our goal was to get to $1 billion earned by creators. We thought that was a really giant goal and would take a long time to hit. It turns out the ConvertKit community is amazing, and we hit that early in 2020. And so then when we hit that goal, it's like, okay, well, what's next? And there was a thought where someone's like, let's go to 1 trillion. Okay, maybe that's too big of a number. And so then we're thinking about, okay, what else should we do? And it's like, well, we should continue to remove barriers to earn a living as a creator. And so that's when we launched ConvertKit Commerce, which is the ability to sell products directly inside of ConvertKit. So, imagine a creator starting out and, they're thinking about, okay, I have my email set up, I have my landing pages, now where do I go to sell? And instead of having to learn another tool and go somewhere else, they can now sell, their books, their coaching, their paid email newsletter or email course directly on ConvertKit. And so since we launched that, creators have now earned $7.5 million on ConvertKit Commerce. And it's easy to look at a number like that and just see a big number that's hard to relate to. And what I like when I see a number is I want to know the stories behind that number. So I'm going to share 4 of them with you today. The first is Chris Gaines. His newsletter is called Uncommon Strength. He's a personal trainer, and he offers ebooks and coaching sessions through commerce. I really like him as an example because I don't think he even really uses a website. It's just commerce and his newsletter. He sends a newsletter every week, and he's sold $83,000 worth of products through ConvertKit Commerce. Next is Selena Gray. She's a coach and mentor helping female executives further their career. And she's selling coaching programs through Commerce, and she's sold $114,000 through Commerce. Next is Kristen from Fiercely Fueled Nutrition, and she sells challenges and coaching and ebooks and other things, and she's sold $51,000 through ConvertKit Commerce. And again, if all of these are big numbers, I'll share one that I really like of someone earlier in their career. And this is Blake Burge. He and I were talking. He writes these great Twitter threads where breaking down how to use Excel, how to use Google Apps, and these other things, like the tips and tricks that you should know. And he and I were talking about how he could make the jump from his full-time job, which is really more like 60 hours a week or more, like it's a very full-time job, into the creative world. And so what he ended up doing is putting together a paid email course that takes you through the Excel foundations. And over 6 weeks, it was something easy for him to make that he could make over time. It fit within his job schedule. And when he launched this, he made $5,000 in the first weekend that it launched. And that was actually just, I think, 3 weeks ago. So all of these creators, the thing that makes it all work so well for them is that it's closely integrated with the entire platform, right? So with landing pages and automations, it's very closely integrated. And we're just continuing to build out ConvertKit Commerce over time. So we've added currencies and payment plans and discounts. And now we're working on taxes and product types and all the things that aren't the sexiest thing, but as creators, right, we need all of that handled for us. So the result of that is that you can now run an entire business just on ConvertKit. I said that to someone once, and they were like, really? Can you? And so the way that I responded to that is I was like, absolutely you can, and I'm going to do it. So I started another business, or more of a side hobby. I hope you've all been enjoying hanging out in Boise. It's my hometown. I love the city. And so I started a newsletter called From Boise with my friend Marissa. And we run this business entirely on ConvertKit. So the website that you're seeing is ConvertKit landing pages. The issues that come out every Tuesday and Thursday, those are public posts, sent as broadcasts. We have a tip jar where people have actually put in a significant amount of tips. I've been quite impressed. And that's powered by Commerce, and sponsors pay through ConvertKit Commerce as well. And then we do a decent amount of Facebook ads to grow the audience. And we make these custom landing pages focused on, to get the highest conversion rate, and that's all ConvertKit. So we're at almost 15,000 subscribers today, and I think it'll be 25,000 by the end of the year at the rate that we're growing. And it's just amazing what you can do just on ConvertKit. So now ConvertKit's a full creator marketing platform, right? It's the best way for professional creators to earn a living today. And we've got something fun that's going to make it a lot better. So when you think about how easy it is to sell digital products, that's what we focused on, right? That's fantastic, but if you look at the creator economy as a whole, that's only a small portion of how creators earn a living. So the majority of income for creators comes from ads and sponsorships and brand deals. But if 70% of the revenue in the creator economy is through sponsorships, why aren't more creators doing this? As we started digging into the numbers, we had that question, so we looked into it. And we learned that the process is really complicated. You have to source brands, you have to negotiate rates, review contracts, write copy, collect payments, report on the results, find the next deal, and this is a process that no one wants to do, right? It takes creators away from what they love doing, which is creating. You want to spend your time honing your craft and growing your audience and not doing all of this. So we just asked one question: what if we did it for you? So we connect you with brands, and you focus on your writing and get paid. I was talking to a friend about this, and he goes, "That sounds too good to be true." And I was like, "Oh, perfect." So, it's like, imagine a world where you write. Okay, sorry, I can't put "imagine a world" on a slide without doing it in like a movie trailer voice. So, imagine a world where you write consistently great content. Okay, I won't do that anymore. But we find sponsors that are a great fit for your readers. You get to approve every brand that you work with. And then you get paid to focus on your writing and growing your audience. And we handle the rest. So we have 6,000 creators on the platform who have more than 10,000 subscribers, right? Who have substantial audiences. So it means we have the largest collection of professional newsletter creators on a single platform. And that gives us the ability to handle everything, all the complexity for you, and do it at scale across the network. So that's what we're launching today, is the ConvertKit Sponsor Network. So we'll connect you with brands, and you focus on your writing. For this, we're going to charge, for creators who are exclusive to the Sponsor Network, we'll charge 20% for sponsorship sales, and then 3.5% for payment processing. And we'll handle all the logistics, so that's all the back office, billing the brands, handling the contracts. And then because you're a creator on ConvertKit, we'll handle all of the reporting back to the brand about how the ad performed and all of that. So, and again, you have full approval of every brand and sponsor that works with you. If we were to walk through an example of a creator, let's say you have 50,000 subscribers and a 45% open rate, and then you make between $700 and $1,000 per email that you send. So with a weekly email, that'd be about $4,000 a month, or about $48,000 a year. And this is something that ConvertKit's handling for you. And it's layered on top of any other way that you make a living, right? So you can do this in addition to the courses that you're selling, the other products, and it's just a way of helping more great brands get in front of your audience, which they're really eager to do. So to be eligible for it, you have to have at least 10,000 subscribers with good engagement, and you need to send a consistent newsletter once a week. So this is not for the creators who publish something once a month, or just when they have something to say, right? It's people who are showing up really consistently. We've been running a pilot program of this for the last few months. We've got a bunch of great creators on the network. James Clear, Kay's actually here, Charlie Prengley, Pat Flynn, bunch of other amazing creators. And now from here, we're opening it up for all the creators on the platform to apply. So if you want to go ahead and apply, it's convertkit.com/sponsor. There's a QR code right here if you want to scan that. But what we would love is for everyone to scan that, go to the URL. If it's not a good fit for you, if you know of another creator who is, what we're doing is we're going to launch niche by niche. You hear that, Glow? Niche. I can stay at my own conference. So we're able to, once we get a critical mass of creators, in a particular, in food blogs, in fitness, in each area, and we'll line up the brands in the same space, then we'll launch at the same time and connect all these great brands with creators. So we're making it a lot easier for creators to monetize, and it changes the way that this is happening. Because if you think about the old way, all of these companies, all these brands are spending a ton of money to advertise adjacent to the content that you're creating, right? If you think about on YouTube, on Instagram, right, they're spending all of this money to put ads right next to your content. And actually, we were doing the same thing, right? We spend a lot of money every month to try to get ConvertKit in front of more creators. And so we do it on all of these other big platforms. And with this, we're able to change it. So now more than 75% of all of the money goes directly to creators, whereas in the old model, it's not even the inverse of that. It's like 10% or less. Or in the cases of a lot of platforms, none of the money was going to creators. And so now 75% is going to creators. And it's cutting out the major platforms like Facebook and Google and YouTube and Instagram. And so, so the money is going directly to creators because, again, everything that we're doing is for creators by creators. Now, with that, we're obviously trying to make money off of this as well, but we're using it to grow. And so we're taking the money that we make and investing it directly back into buying all of our own ads on our own network. And so when you're trying to, as we're trying to reach more creators, we're doing it through all of your newsletters. And so if you have an amazing community of creators that you reach, like, talk to us. We want to sponsor your newsletter because we're shifting our entire ad budget from the major social networks directly to creators. So we're a self-funded platform. Over the last 9 years that we've been doing this, we've built the ability to automate your business. We've launched landing pages so you can run much more of your business on ConvertKit. We rolled out a free plan to make it much more accessible to any new creator starting out. We built ConvertKit Commerce so you can sell products directly. And now we've got the sponsor network. So everything comes back to this one thing, that we exist to help creators earn a living. It's why we do what we do. But as I think about this mission, I'm left with one question. And that's just, what if you don't have internet? Right? We think about everyone in this room, and we think about the challenges that we have. And they're kind of superficial. There's lots of things that are hard. We're trying to figure out how to grow our business. We're trying to figure out all these things. But what if you don't have internet or water or housing or medical care? And what if you don't have the opportunity to have the opportunity and stability to become a creator in the way that we think about it? So the very first Craft and Commerce, we announced 3 organizations, and it grew to 5 that we've been supporting to meet these basic needs around the world. So those are Charity Water, providing clean water and building wells around the world. Earth Mission Asia, which is providing healthcare and training medical professionals with the Karen people during an active war in Myanmar. New Story Charity, which is building 3D printed homes in entire communities in Latin America. Campaign Zero, which is trying to provide sensible policy reforms to end police violence. And then Code 2040, which is bringing tech education and access to underrepresented groups. So in the year, I'm trying to remember how many years since Craft and Commerce, since the very first one. It's hard when there's a break of a pandemic in the middle. But in the years since then, we've donated over $650,000 to these organizations. My favorite thing about it is that the money's coming from all of us, right? It's the community, it's the creators. I was talking to a few of these organizations. I was talking to Earth Mission Asia and New Story Charity just this last week, and they just wanted to say a huge thank you because they've done incredible work with this money, and it's all because of all the creators who are using ConvertKit. So In a room like this, it's easy to feel optimistic, right? We're excited this weekend. We're meeting people who have a growth mindset, who are trying to grow their businesses and who think they can change and improve the world. And what's going to happen is tomorrow, you're going to go out into a world that looks like this, right? You're going to hear about inflation, recession, things like it hasn't been this bad since 2008. All the good numbers are going down, and all the bad numbers are going up. We live in a world where everyone wants to tell you what's going to happen. But I want you to remember that those are the same people that said your creative venture wouldn't work. They're the people who said you should get a realistic job. And I just say, you're a creator. You aren't at the mercy of your circumstances. As creators, we're optimists. We believe that the future will be better than the present because we're going to play a role in making it so. So just end with this. The future belongs to creators. Let's go and make a better world. Thank you.